What if the universe serves the enlightened because they no longer ask, but remember? Why does reality rearrange itself for those who move from wanting to knowing? As you listen, you awaken to the timeless law that manifestation follows awareness, not struggle. The universe serves the enlightened. Introduction. The universe does not answer cries born of urgency, nor does it bend to restless desire. It moves in harmony with enlightened consciousness, responding only to the quiet authority of one who is aligned. When you rise into this higher state of awareness, you discover that manifestation is not an act of force, but a natural unfolding of resonance. You were never meant to chase life, only to become the one life responds to. The universe reflects back exactly what you embody, the thoughts you dwell in, the feelings you sustain, and above all, the depth of your awareness. The moment you shift from seeking outside yourself to knowing within, the unseen structure of reality begins to rearrange. This knowing cannot be learned through effort alone. It is remembered through direct communion with your own divine nature. As this remembrance dawns, you align effortlessly with the same intelligence that spins galaxies and orders the stars. You no longer plead with the universe, for you recognize yourself as an extension of its infinite mind. The law of attraction has always operated through resonance, never negotiation. When your inner state matches the frequency of what you desire, it appears not as a reward, but as a reflection. Those who understand this law do not focus on acquiring possessions. They devote themselves to expanding consciousness. To be enlightened is to realize you were never separate from the power you sought. The universe serves the enlightened because they have remembered who they are, conscious participants in creation itself. In this state, manifestation becomes as effortless as breath. No method to perform, only a state to inhabit. The secret is sustained awareness. Each moment invites you to choose remembrance over forgetting, faith over fear, flow over resistance. As your consciousness widens, so does your capacity to shape reality, not through action alone, but through the silent power of your presence. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening of Intention. Chapter 1. The Whisper Beneath Thought. In a small mountain village, Millie spent her days weaving intricate tapestries, each thread woven with worry. She fretted about her finances, and bills appeared unexpectedly. She feared illness, and minor ailments visited regularly. Like a magnet drawing iron filings, her anxious thoughts attracted precisely what she dreaded most. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responded not to her wishes but to the energy she broadcast. Each fearful thought cast a shadow, and in those shadows her worries took form. Yet this was not punishment. It was simply the law of attraction, expressing itself with perfect accuracy. Through Millie's experience, you glimpse a fundamental truth. Thoughts are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Whether you tend them mindfully or scatter them carelessly, they will grow. Your mind is an eternal garden, and the universe is an unfailing gardener. By the shores of a crystal lake, a man named Lionel discovered this truth from another angle. Each morning, he sat in silence, eyes closed, breathing in harmony with the gentle waves. At first, his mind buzzed with plans and concerns, but gradually he learned to rest in the space between thoughts. In that space, Lionel found not emptiness, but pure potential. As his inner quiet deepened, remarkable changes blossomed around him. His relationships smoothed, opportunities appeared, and solutions emerged effortlessly. He had stumbled upon a profound secret. When the mind grows still, the universe can speak. These stories mirror each other, like the lake's surface mirrors the sky. Millie's experience shows how unconscious thoughts shape reality, while Lionel's reveals the power of conscious silence. Together, they teach that manifestation begins not with action, but with stillness. The universe awaits your clear signal, but that signal cannot emerge from a cluttered mind. Just as radio waves travel best through clear skies, your intentions reach furthest through inner silence. Ancient practice of focused stillness. To awaken intention, spend a few minutes each day imagining your mind as a clear sky where each thought is a drifting cloud. When a dark cloud appears, smile and let it fade, then sense the stillness remaining. That stillness is your true command center. Act from there each time life asks for your voice. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Momentum. Every morning, you witness the dance of creation through Clara's window. She awakens with a sigh, her shoulders already bearing invisible burdens. "Another difficult day ahead," she whispers, and the universe, ever faithful to our expectations, arranges circumstances to match her prophecy. A delayed bus, a spilled coffee, a misplaced document. Each incident weaves perfectly into her tapestry of anticipated troubles. Yet the universe holds no preference for shadow over light. Like a mirror reflecting whatever stands before it, it simply returns the vibration we offer. This is the first key to understanding the ancient law that governs all creation. Your emotional frequency becomes your reality's foundation. When you maintain a feeling, whether of lack or abundance, that feeling attracts experiences that will sustain it. It is not your words, but your consistent emotional state that signals the universe what to reflect back. A single grateful thought begins gathering others like it, just as a worried thought collects more worries. This is why those who understand the law focus not on changing circumstances, but on mastering their inner atmosphere. In the heart of a bustling marketplace stands Chester's Bakery, where this wisdom manifests in the most practical way. Chester, who inherited a struggling business, discovered the power of emotional momentum through an unexpected revelation. Each morning, as he kneads his dough, he infuses it with genuine appreciation for the wheat that became flour, for the customers who will find nourishment in his bread, for the simple joy of creation. What began as a modest shift in perspective transformed his small bakery into a thriving sanctuary of abundance. Customers speak of bread that tastes like happiness, though they cannot explain why. Chester's success defies market trends and economic forecasts because it flows from a higher law. The law that states emotion is the clay from which reality is molded. Your feelings are not merely responses to life. They are the very substance from which your tomorrow is shaped. When you understand this, you hold the key to transforming your existence from one of reaction to one of creation. The ancient practice of appreciation. As you move through your days, pause whenever something brings you even the slightest pleasure. A warm sunbeam, a kind word, a moment of peace. Rather than rushing past, linger in that feeling for one extra heartbeat. Let appreciation fill that moment completely. This single heartbeat of genuine gratitude speaks louder to the universe than hours of pleading or planning. As you cultivate this practice, you will notice a subtle shift. More moments worthy of appreciation begin appearing as if drawn by an invisible magnet. This is the law in action, as your consistent appreciation becomes a beacon, calling forth experiences that match its frequency. Chapter 3. The Art of Gentle Demand. The vibration of longing emanates from every gesture as Daisy moves through her days. With eyes searching each crowd and heart aching at every romance glimpsed in passing, she pleads with the universe to bring her true love. Yet beneath her conscious wishes lies a current of doubt, a quiet voice whispering, "Not yet, not for me." This resistance, though subtle, commands the universe as surely as her prayers. The law speaks clearly through her experience. When asking arises from emptiness rather than wholeness, it perpetuates the very lack it seeks to fill. Your requests need not be desperate. The universe responds most powerfully to the gentle knowing that what you seek is already in motion. Floyd discovers this truth one night in the realm between sleeping and waking. In his dream, a voice of infinite wisdom guides him. Live as though your desire is fulfilled. The feeling of completion, not the words of wanting, creates your reality. Upon waking, Floyd feels different, no longer hoping but knowing. His entire being resonates with quiet certainty rather than need. That very day, the circumstances he had long pursued begin rearranging themselves without his effort. Opportunities appear, connections form, and paths clear, not because he forced them, but because his vibration finally matched his desire. The universe, you see, responds not to what you say, but to what you are being. Your words may plead for abundance, while your energy speaks of scarcity. Your lips may ask for love, while your heart whispers of unworthiness. The universe hears the deeper frequency, the subtle song beneath your conscious requests. It mirrors back to you not what you wish for, but what you truly expect and believe. To command reality is to align your entire being, thoughts, feelings, and deepest beliefs, with what you desire. When you vibrate in harmony with your wishes, the universe cannot help but reflect that frequency back to you. This is not manifestation through force, but through resonance. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, speak these words within your heart. What I desire already desires me. Then rest in the knowing that your wish has already been fulfilled. This soft certainty, this peaceful acceptance, instructs existence to align at the speed of now. For in the realm of energy, where all creation begins, your desire and its fulfillment are one and the same. Chapter 4. The Currency of Emotion. In a bustling marketplace, Lottie grips her coins with trembling fingers, each purchase causing her heart to constrict. With every transaction, she feels herself diminishing, as though each exchange drains her very essence. The universe mirrors her fear with perfect precision. Her accounts shrink in accordance with her anxious expectation. Through Lottie's struggle, a profound truth emerges. Money flows not according to mathematical equations, but through channels carved by belief. When you approach each exchange with trepidation, you command scarcity into being. The energy with which you release resources determines their return path. Within the infinite ocean of abundance, fear, acts as a dam, restricting the natural flow of prosperity. Your relationship with money speaks volumes to the universe, not through words, but through the vibration you maintain during each transaction. When you clutch at wealth, you tell the universe you expect it to vanish. When you release it with joy, you declare your trust in its perpetual return. Consider the tale of Milton, a merchant who transformed his fortunes through a simple shift in perspective. For years he viewed each payment as a loss, unconsciously resisting the natural cycle of giving and receiving. One day, while observing a fountain in the town square, wisdom dawned within his heart. He saw how water flowed ceaselessly, falling only to rise again, giving way only to return in endless circulation. From that moment, Milton approached every transaction as participation in life's grand circulation. Each coin he paid became not a loss, but a contribution to the endless flow of abundance. He began to feel joy in paying his debts, delight in purchasing goods, pleasure in compensating services rendered. His shift in energy rippled through his reality. Within months, his prosperity multiplied beyond recognition. The universe responds not to the mathematical value of your transactions, but to the emotional signature behind them. Fear of loss breeds more occasions for fear. Joy in circulation attracts greater abundance. The law is absolute in its simplicity. Your feeling about money becomes your experience of it, your practice. Each time you release payment or kindness, whisper inwardly, "It returns multiplied." Then notice how serenity replaces tension, and prosperity begins to feel like a breathing companion. Chapter 5. The Frequency of Expectation. Money flows through channels of faith, not mathematical formulas. When you peer through the lens of lack, even abundance appears as scarcity. Yet this ancient wisdom reveals a secret. Your emotional relationship with wealth shapes its very nature in your life. In the heart of a coastal town, Nora moves through her days expecting obstacles at every turn. She leaves early for appointments, convinced traffic will delay her. She carries extra documentation, certain something will be missing. She double-books services, assuming the first will fail. Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, the universe orchestrates precisely the delays she anticipates. Her life becomes an endless confirmation of her expectations. The law of attraction operates with unwavering precision. Your deepest expectations become your living reality. When you expect struggle, the universe must comply, for it can only mirror what you hold as truth. Your expectations are silent commands that shape the fabric of your experience. Yet, this power works equally in both directions, as demonstrated by Clyde, a humble gardener who discovered this truth through simple observation. One morning, he began a peculiar practice, expecting small miracles in his daily life. He anticipated finding exactly what he needed. He looked forward to perfect timing. He welcomed synchronicities as natural occurrences. To his amazement, life began rearranging itself to match his improved forecast. The very soil seemed more fertile beneath his optimistic touch. Seeds sprouted with unusual vigor. Clients appeared at precisely the right moments. Resources materialized just as he required them. The universe, true to its nature, rushed to fulfill his elevated expectations. This is not mere coincidence, but the operation of an immutable law. Expectation is the prophecy maker. Your anticipation of events carries a creative force that shapes circumstances before they materialize. The universe cannot help but conform to your inner vision, whether that vision springs from fear or faith. When you shift your expectations from scarcity to abundance, from delay to divine timing, from struggle to ease, reality must shift to match this new vibration. It has no choice, for this is the law by which creation operates. Ancient practice. As the sun rises each morning, find a quiet moment and speak into the dawn 3 pleasing expectations. Do not specify how they should manifest. Simply plant these seeds of possibility. Today brings unexpected joy. Solutions arrive with perfect timing. Abundance flows naturally. Then release control and let curiosity guide you. Watch how the universe responds to your improved prophecy with creative manifestations that surpass your imagining. Chapter 6. The Company of Vibration. A traveler named Peggy wandered through her days feeling increasingly exhausted, as though invisible hands were draining her vital energy. Everywhere she turned, she encountered individuals sharing their troubles, seeking her shoulder for their burdens, filling her ears with tales of woe. Like a magnet drawing iron filings, she attracted those whose hearts were heavy with sorrow and minds clouded with complaint. The universe operates through resonance, like calls to like across the vast expanse of existence. Your frequency becomes your company, for what you hold within must manifest without. When Peggy looked deeper into the mirror of her experiences, she discovered a profound truth. These encounters were not random, but reflections of her own hidden discord. The law of attraction works with unwavering precision in all domains, including your social sphere. Those who appear in your life are not chance meetings, but precise matches to your dominant vibration. When you carry within you seeds of joy, the universe can only present you with those who water that garden. When you nurture dissatisfaction, even subtly, you become a beacon for others walking that same path. Warren, a quiet craftsman, understood this principle through direct experience. Without announcement or fanfare, he began cultivating his own garden of contentment. Each morning, he would sit in his workshop, allowing happiness to flow through him as naturally as breath. He ceased seeking validation for his positive outlook, or attempting to convince others to join him in his practice. A remarkable shift occurred. The atmosphere around him transformed. Those who previously sought him out to share their troubles gradually fell away, replaced by individuals whose eyes sparkled with similar inner light. His new circle of companions naturally engaged in conversations that uplifted rather than depleted. Their interactions became collaborations in growth rather than competitions in complaint. This transformation reveals a fundamental truth. Your social environment is not imposed upon you, but emerges from within you. As you elevate your frequency, you naturally rise beyond the reach of lower vibrations. Those operating at different frequencies simply cease to resonate with your new state of being. The ancient practice of vibrational alignment. Find a peaceful space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and begin to imagine ideal companions, souls who embody the qualities you wish to attract. Picture their radiant smiles, their uplifting words, their supportive presence. Feel the warmth of their company, the inspiration of their thoughts, the harmony of your interaction. Send waves of affection toward these imagined friends, knowing they exist somewhere in the vast tapestry of life. Continue this practice daily, and watch as the universe begins orchestrating meetings with physical counterparts who mirror the frequency you have been holding in your heart. Chapter 7. The Permission of Worthiness. In a bustling marketplace, a young woman named Sadie stood before a merchant's display of gleaming treasures. Though her eyes sparkled with desire for a beautifully crafted pendant, her hand remained frozen at her side, refusing to reach for what called to her heart. "Such beauty isn't meant for someone like me," she whispered to herself, turning away from the very thing that had sparked joy within her soul. The universe speaks in the language of resonance, and your beliefs about worthiness form the foundation of all you attract or repel. When you question your right to receive, you create an energetic barrier that even the most abundant gifts cannot penetrate. This doubt acts as an invisible shield, deflecting the very blessings that seek to find you. Your worth is not earned, it simply is. Like the sun that never questions its right to shine, or the rose that never doubts its right to bloom, your existence itself is proof of your worthiness. The universe did not bring you forth to deny you its abundance. You are not separate from the flow of life's treasures. You are an integral part of that flow. In the quiet hills beyond the city, there lived a humble shepherd named Leonard who discovered this truth. Each morning he began greeting himself in his reflection with the simple acknowledgement, "I am here, and that is enough." At first these words felt hollow, yet he persisted. Gradually he noticed subtle shifts, an invitation to share his songs at the village gathering, a chance encounter leading to a profitable wool trading partnership, a forgotten inheritance suddenly remembered. Leonard had changed nothing in his outer world. He had simply accepted his natural place within it. Like a flower turning toward the sun, opportunities began orienting themselves toward him, not because he had proven himself worthy, but because he had ceased questioning his worthiness. The cosmos operates through unconditional giving. Witness how the rain nourishes both the mighty oak and the smallest blade of grass without discrimination. Your role is not to convince the universe of your worth, but to align with the worth already inherent in your being. When you understand this, life's abundance flows not as reward, but as natural expression. Practice. As you prepare for sleep each night, rest your hand upon your heart and envision the universe smiling upon you with infinite tenderness. Feel its warm acceptance of your complete being, requiring nothing more than your existence. Let this feeling of being unconditionally embraced by life itself become your new normal. Your worth is not waiting to be proven. It waits only to be recognized. Chapter 8. The Language of Non-Resistance. In a quiet village, Ruth spent her days in constant battle with life's flow. Each morning, she would rise and immediately begin her wrestle with circumstances, fighting traffic, resisting her work responsibilities, pushing against the natural rhythm of her days. Like a swimmer stubbornly trying to force her way upstream, she exhausted herself in endless struggle. The universal law reveals a paradoxical truth. What you resist persists. When you wage war against your present circumstances, you anchor yourself more deeply in the very situations you wish to change. Your resistance becomes a signal to the universe, declaring, "Send me more of this to resist." It is not the circumstances themselves that create your suffering, but your energetic opposition to them. Consider how water flows around obstacles, never fighting what blocks its path, but simply finding new routes. This is the way of universal wisdom. When you release your grip on how things should be, you free the universe to reveal solutions you could never have imagined through force. In a neighboring town lived Grant, a merchant who faced repeated inventory shortages. Initially, he raged against these challenges, viewing them as obstacles to his success. But one day, while watching leaves float effortlessly down a stream, understanding dawned within him. Instead of cursing the shortages, he began to welcome them as messengers. "Show me what I need to learn," he would say quietly whenever a challenge arose. A remarkable transformation followed. By embracing rather than resisting his difficulties, Grant discovered innovative solutions. The shortages guided him to new suppliers, better inventory systems, and ultimately, greater prosperity. What had once been his greatest frustration became the catalyst for his success. This wisdom echoes through the ages. That which you embrace transforms. Opposition creates walls, while acceptance builds bridges. This is not passive resignation, but active alignment with the universal flow. When you cease fighting what is, you free up the energy needed to create what can be. Sacred practice. Sit quietly for a moment whenever friction appears in your day. Place your hand upon your heart and whisper inwardly, "Everything assists me." Let these words sink deeply into your being. Notice how your shoulders relax, how your breath deepens. Feel the subtle shift as resistance melts into acceptance. In this space of surrender, watch how solutions naturally emerge, like morning dew appearing without effort. Chapter 9. The Sight Beyond Sight. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, a merchant known as Hazel stood behind her counter, counting her daily earnings with meticulous precision. Each coin she touched had to be weighed, each transaction documented with exacting detail. "Show me first," she would say to life itself, "and then I shall believe." You see, Hazel represents the voice within you that demands evidence before faith. Like many, she lived by the principle, "I'll believe it when I see it." Yet the universe operates in reverse. You must first believe to see. The law of attraction reveals this timeless truth. Physical manifestation is merely the final stage of creation. Before anything materializes in your tangible world, it must first take form in the fertile soil of imagination. Your inner vision shapes the outer reality with an accuracy that surpasses human understanding. Think of a master artist. Does the painting not exist first in their mind before the brush touches canvas? Does the sculptor not see the finished work within the raw marble? So too must you become the artist of your existence, wielding the brush of belief before the masterpiece appears. Consider Vernon, a humble gardener who lived on the outskirts of town. Each evening he would sit in his barren yard, eyes closed, smiling as though surrounded by a paradise of blooming flowers. To passers-by he appeared foolish, sitting contentedly in empty space. Yet Vernon knew a secret. He was watering his garden with vision first. Within days, neighbors noticed small sprouts emerging where none had grown before. Within weeks, flowers began to bloom in patterns that matched Vernon's inner picture perfectly. The very air seemed to shimmer with life where he had first planted seeds of imagination. What you gaze upon with your physical eyes is but the harvest of previous thoughts. The universe does not respond to your words or wishes, but to the unwavering pictures you hold in your mind's eye. When you learn to trust your inner vision more than your outer sight, you master the art of creation. Your role is not to demand proof from the universe, but to provide it with a template through your imagination. Let your inner eye paint with the colors of certainty. Feel the texture of your desires as though they already exist. Breathe in the fragrance of your dreams as if they surround you now. The ancient practice. For a few minutes daily, review your desired reality through your inner senses until emotional reality feels more vivid than physical one. Sit in silence, close your eyes, and let your imagination become more real than your surroundings. Feel the weight, texture, and presence of what you desire until it seems more substantial than what your physical eyes currently see. Chapter 10. The Smile of Surrender. In a grand mansion overlooking the valley, Betsy paced restlessly through her study, surrounded by vision boards, to-do lists, and countless journals filled with detailed plans. Her achievements were many, yet peace eluded her. Each goal attained merely birthed 10 more, leaving her caught in an endless cycle of striving. The universe whispers its wisdom through the language of ease, not effort. When you grip your desires with white knuckles, you unknowingly create resistance to their natural unfolding. This tension sends ripples of anxiety into the cosmic field, distorting the very reality you wish to shape. Consider how a flower blooms. It doesn't strain or struggle. It simply opens to the sun's warmth, allowing its petals to unfurl in perfect timing. This is the way of universal law. Your role is not to force manifestation, but to align with it. In the quiet village of Millbrook, Raymond, a talented musician, learned this truth through an unexpected turn of events. For years he had pushed himself relentlessly, practicing until his fingers bled, pursuing fame with single-minded determination. Yet success remained elusive, always dancing just beyond his reach. One autumn evening, exhausted from his endless striving, Raymond set aside his guitar and walked to the village square. As he watched children playing, their laughter carried on the breeze. Something within him softened. He realized how tightly he had been holding on to his dreams, how every moment had become another opportunity to work harder, push further. In that moment of surrender, Raymond simply began to hum a melody, playing with sound for the pure joy of it. A passing stranger stopped to listen, then another. This stranger happened to be a music producer seeking new talent for his label. But here's the deeper truth. It wasn't mere coincidence. When Raymond released his grip on outcome, he allowed the universe to orchestrate events far more elegant than his mind could have planned. The cosmic dance of manifestation follows natural law. When you squeeze too tightly, you restrict the flow of universal energy. Your task is not to make things happen, but to allow them to unfold. This doesn't mean abandoning action. Rather, it means taking inspired action from a place of trust rather than desperation. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and begin to notice your breath. With each exhale, visualize yourself releasing the reins of control into the capable hands of the universe. Smile gently, as though you've just remembered a wonderful secret. Everything is already arranged for your highest good. Let your body soften with each breath, feeling the relief of knowing you don't have to figure it all out. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has already charted the perfect course. Part 2. The Expansion of Alignment. Chapter 11. The Circle of Belief. In the bustling marketplace, Polly stood before her half-empty shop, wondering why success seemed to play hide-and-seek with her dreams. Some days her store brimmed with customers, their enthusiasm matching her own bright expectations. Other days, when doubt crept in like morning mist, the shop stood silent, mirroring her wavering faith. Your manifestations mirror the consistency of your vibration. When you alternate between trust and skepticism, the universe can only deliver mixed results. Think of yourself as a broadcaster. Your emotional frequency must remain steady for clear reception. Each wobble in your confidence creates a corresponding ripple in your reality. The law of attraction responds not to occasional bursts of belief, but to sustained resonance. Like a musician holding a note, your unwavering faith creates harmony with universal forces. When you interrupt this tone with doubt, you fragment the manifestation process, receiving fragments in return. In the quiet town of Riverbrook, Norman discovered this truth through his flower garden. Each morning, without fail, he walked among his blooms, whispering words of appreciation. Even when winter threatened, he maintained his gratitude practice, thanking the dormant soil for the flowers yet to come. His neighbors thought him peculiar until his garden began producing blooms of unprecedented beauty and abundance, thriving even in unlikely seasons. Norman's success wasn't rooted in the words he spoke, but in the unchanging quality of his belief. He never questioned whether spring would arrive or if seeds would sprout. His faith flowed like a steady river, carving a deeper channel of manifestation with each passing day. The universe, recognizing this constancy, responded in kind, transforming his simple garden into a marvel that drew visitors from miles around. Your power to create lies not in perfect thoughts, but in maintained frequency. When you hold your vision with the same certainty that the sun will rise, reality has no choice but to align with your expectation. This is the secret of those who seem to manifest effortlessly. They have mastered the art of unchanging belief. Sacred practice. Close your eyes and envision your desire wrapped in a ring of golden light. Watch as this light maintains its brilliant glow regardless of external circumstances. Let this ring represent your unwavering faith. When doubts arise, see them pass through the ring without dimming its radiance. Hold this image until you feel the steadiness of your belief becoming as natural as breathing. This golden circle becomes your anchor, reminding you that consistent faith yields consistent results. Chapter 12. The Dance of Detachment. In a bustling marketplace, Ethel clutched her precious gemstones, constantly checking her pockets and bags. A merchant of rare jewels, she had amassed a collection that brought her both pride and perpetual anxiety. Each morning she would count her inventory multiple times, her hands trembling as she touched each stone. The more she worried about losing her treasures, the more circumstances arose that threatened their safety. A torn bag here, a loose clasp there, each incident reinforcing her fears. The universe operates through a divine paradox. That which we hold too tightly slips through our fingers like water, while that which we release with trust flows back to us in abundance. Your attachment to outcomes creates resistance in the very fabric of manifestation. When you grasp at your desires with desperate hands, you unknowingly push them away. In this sacred dance of creation, detachment becomes your greatest ally. Not the cold detachment of indifference, but the warm release of deep trust. When you understand that your desires are already yours in the spiritual realm, the physical manifestation becomes a natural unfolding rather than a forced emergence. Consider the story of Martin, a musician who dreamed of performing in grand concert halls. For years he pushed and struggled, trying to force his way into prestigious venues. His desperation created a dissonance that audiences could feel. One evening, after another disappointing performance, he sat beneath the stars and surrendered his timeline to the universe. "I release my music to find its perfect expression," he whispered to the night sky. From that moment, he simply played for the joy of playing. His music, freed from the weight of his expectations, began to soar. Within months, invitations arrived from the very venues he had once pursued so frantically. His artistry, now flowing from a place of freedom rather than fear, magnetized opportunities effortlessly. This ancient truth whispers to you now. Your desires are drawn to you through the power of your faith, not the strength of your grip. When you trust the universe's timing and wisdom, you allow your manifestations to arrive through the most harmonious channels. Ancient practice. Settle into a quiet space and bring to mind your deepest desire. Now, imagine it as a beautiful balloon filled with golden light. Hold its string gently in your hands, feeling the connection between you. With a smile of complete trust, release it skyward. Watch as it rises, knowing the string of faith keeps it forever connected to your heart. Let this image remind you that releasing control does not mean losing connection. It means allowing the universe to chart the perfect course for your blessing's return. Chapter 13. The Garden of Thoughts. In a small village where mist clung to the morning air, Flora tended her physical garden with care, while her mind grew wild with worries. Each day, as she planted seeds and pulled weeds from the earth, her thoughts tangled with fears about money, health, and the future. Despite the beauty surrounding her, she could only see the imperfections: the wilting rose, the yellowing leaf, the crooked stem. The universal law whispers its wisdom through every blade of grass. What we nurture in thought blossoms in experience. Your mind is a garden more potent than any plot of earth, for its soil connects directly to the creative force of existence. Each thought you plant takes root in the fertile ground of consciousness, drawing sustenance from your attention until it manifests in the physical realm. When you discover weeds of worry sprouting in your mental garden, remember, these too grew from seeds you scattered, yet the power of choice remains eternally yours. You need not wage war against unwanted thoughts, for conflict only fertilizes their growth. Instead, turn your attention gently toward what you wish to cultivate. In the neighboring valley lived Wendell, who understood this principle through natural observation. Each morning, he would sit beneath an ancient oak tree, consciously selecting thoughts of appreciation like precious seeds. He blessed the sunrise, honored the birdsong, and gave thanks for the air filling his lungs. Day by day, his inner garden flourished with gratitude, peace, and joy. Soon, his outer world reflected this careful cultivation. His relationships deepened, opportunities multiplied, and even challenges arrived bearing gifts of growth. The universal law responds not to what you want, but to what you water with your attention. Every thought is a seed, every emotion the water that helps it grow. When you consistently nurture thoughts of lack, struggle sprouts abundantly. When you tend to thoughts of abundance, prosperity blooms naturally. Your role is that of the master gardener of your consciousness. The universe has gifted you with endless seeds of possibility. Choose wisely which ones you plant. Let your awareness be the pruning shears that shapes your mental landscape. When thorns of negativity appear, do not fight them. Simply redirect your attention to the flowers you wish to grow. Sacred practice. As the day draws to a close, find a quiet moment to visit your inner garden. Survey the thoughts you've cultivated. Where weeds of worry have sprouted, gently uproot them by planting seeds of gratitude in their place. Whisper thanks for 3 specific blessings, no matter how small. Let these seeds of appreciation take root in the fertile soil of your consciousness as you drift into sleep. The universe will water them with dreams, and tomorrow's light will find new flowers blooming in your experience. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Power of Presence. A merchant walked through the marketplace, her baskets empty, though her mind overflowed with memories. Hattie spent her days retracing old footsteps, reliving moments of regret and missed opportunity. While customers browsed her wares, her thoughts wandered through shadowy corridors of what might have been, each remembrance casting longer shadows over her now. The universe knows only one moment, this one. When you anchor your awareness in times already past, you surrender your creative power to ghosts. The present instant holds all potential, waiting like clay in the potter's hands. Yet how often you abandon this sacred moment, choosing instead to inhabit memories that can no longer serve your becoming. Your point of power exists precisely where your breath meets the air, not in yesterday's choices, not in tomorrow's possibilities, but in the infinite spaciousness of now. Each time you fully inhabit the present moment, you step into the stream of creation where all transformation becomes possible. In the mountains lived a shepherd named Elmer, who discovered this truth through simple observation. Each morning, he would climb to watch the sunrise, and one day he noticed something profound. When his attention fully merged with the unfolding dawn, the changing colors, the growing warmth, the awakening birds, his entire being shifted into alignment with life's natural flow. In these moments of complete presence, solutions appeared, paths cleared, and synchronicities multiplied. The past exists only as thought forms in your mind. When you continuously revisit old stories, you feed them with your life force, keeping them alive at the expense of your present power. Notice how memories of pain or loss pull you from the now, where all your manifesting power resides. The law of attraction responds only to your present vibration. When you stand fully in the now, allowing your awareness to fill this moment completely, you become a clear channel for universal intelligence. Your energy, undiluted by past regrets or future fears, flows purely into creation. Sacred practice. Several times throughout your day, pause and become deeply aware of this moment. Feel the texture of the air against your skin. Listen to the layered sounds surrounding you. Notice the subtle sensations in your body. Taste the lingering essence on your tongue. Breathe in the scents carried on the air. Let your awareness rest fully in the heartbeat of this second, where all power resides. This is your point of creation, the only moment where transformation is possible. Chapter 15. The Gentle Art of Allowing. In a bustling village square, there lived a woman known for her endless corrections. Each morning, Mabel would begin her day by noting all that needed fixing in others. She'd counsel her sister to smile more, her neighbor to worry less, and her friends to change their ways. Though her intentions sparkled with care, her constant attempts to adjust others' emotions cast shadows over their natural light. The law of attraction whispers a truth often overlooked. Attempting to control the feelings of others creates resistance that rebounds upon itself. When you resist what is, you trap yourself in an exhausting dance with what could be. Each attempt to mold another's emotional landscape sends ripples of discord through the fabric of relationships, disturbing the natural flow of energy between souls. Theodore, a quiet shopkeeper in the same village, discovered this wisdom through surrender. Where once he had tried to lift every downcast face that entered his shop, he learned instead to honor each person's journey. He noticed that when he stopped trying to brighten others' moods, their authentic selves emerged more freely. His shop became a sanctuary where people felt safe to simply be. As days passed, Theodore witnessed a remarkable transformation. Those who once avoided his well-meaning advice now lingered longer, sharing genuine smiles that arose naturally. He understood that true harmony flows not from manipulation, but from acceptance. The universe operates through allowing. It never forces a flower to bloom before its time. The wisdom lies in recognizing that each soul moves at its perfect pace. When you release the need to orchestrate others' emotions, you free yourself from an impossible task. Your energy, no longer scattered in countless directions trying to manage other hearts, returns to nourish your own growth. Consider how the sun does not demand that all plants grow at the same rate, nor does the rain insist that every seed sprout simultaneously. Nature's wisdom lies in its infinite patience with timing. So too must you learn to trust the emotional seasons of those around you. A merchant who once visited Theodore's shop spoke of a distant temple where monks practiced the art of allowing. They understood that true influence comes not from molding others, but from holding space for their natural unfolding. Their presence alone created an atmosphere where transformation could occur organically. This truth reveals itself. When you cease trying to control the emotional weather of others, you become like a clear sky through which their authentic light can shine. Your acceptance becomes the very invitation they need to find their own way to joy. Practice. As you move through your day, picture everyone you meet traveling at their perfect pace, and silently wish them ease rather than expectation. Let this gentle blessing replace the urge to change their course. In doing so, you'll discover that allowing others their natural rhythm creates a harmony far sweeter than any orchestrated emotion could achieve. Chapter 16. The Reflection of Joy. In a bustling village square, Mabel lived with an endless drive to perfect those around her. Each morning she would begin her day noting all that needed fixing in others. She counseled her sister to smile more, her neighbor to worry less, and her friends to change their ways. Though her intentions sparkled with care, her constant attempts to adjust others' emotions cast shadows over their natural light. The universe operates through an exquisite balance of allowing and becoming. When you attempt to control the feelings of others, you create resistance that rebounds upon itself. Your desire to shape their experience stems from a deep wish for harmony. Yet true harmony emerges only when each soul is free to move through its own emotional seasons. Consider how a flower unfolds. It neither rushes nor delays its blooming. It simply allows the process to unfold in perfect timing. So too must human hearts be granted the grace to feel what they feel, to grow at their own pace. In the quiet hills beyond the village lived Edna, who wore a mask of perpetual cheer. "I must stay positive," she would insist, even as tears threatened to breach her careful facade. Each forced smile became a wall between her heart and authentic joy. The more she demanded happiness of herself, the more it eluded her grasp. Her pretense of perpetual lightness created a heaviness that drew more reasons for sadness into her life. True allowing begins with yourself. When you grant yourself permission to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, you open the channel through which genuine joy can flow. Forced positivity is like painting a wilted plant green. It may temporarily create the illusion of life, but it cannot nourish real growth. In the valley below, Stuart discovered this truth through an unexpected teacher, his own grief. Rather than pushing away his sadness or masking it with false cheer, he chose to sit with it, to witness it with gentle attention. "I feel you," he would whisper to his heavy heart. As days passed, something remarkable occurred. His sadness, acknowledged and accepted, began to shift on its own, like clouds naturally dispersing after rain. Without forcing or rushing, his genuine joy returned, deeper and more stable than before. This is the alchemy of allowing. When you cease struggling against what is, transformation occurs naturally. Your role is not to mandate joy, but to create space for authentic feeling to move through you. As you extend this same grace to others, you'll notice their resistance to you melting away. The very people you once tried to change will begin to blossom, nourished by the light of your acceptance. Practice for emotional alchemy. When emotion feels heavy within you, pause and turn toward it with gentle awareness. Speak to it softly, saying, "I see you," and observe how its edges begin to soften. This simple act of acknowledgement often initiates a natural transformation, allowing denser frequencies to evolve into lighter ones without force or resistance. Chapter 17. The Bridge of Faith. In a seaside town where mist touched the morning shores, Ivy stood at her window each dawn, gazing at the distant horizon where her dreams seemed to float like ships too far to reach. Each day she yearned for her heart's calling, to open a healing sanctuary where ancient wisdom could touch modern lives. Yet between her present moment and that cherished vision stretched what appeared an impossible distance. The universe speaks in whispers of certainty, not shouts of doubt. When you perceive distance between yourself and your desire, remember that space exists only in physical sight, not in spiritual truth. Your dreams feel far because you measure them with mortal eyes rather than immortal knowing. Every manifestation begins as invisible architecture, built first in the realm of pure potential before it steps into physical form. Your role is not to struggle across a gap, but to recognize that what you seek already exists in completion, waiting for your faith to make it visible. In the merchant district of the same town lived Clifford, who understood this deeper truth. While others saw his empty storefront as proof of limitation, he walked its bare floors as though they already held the thriving business he envisioned. He spoke to invisible customers, arranged unseen displays, and felt the success of his venture as present reality. Within months, his shop became exactly what his inner eye had witnessed, a testament to the power of emotional certainty. The distance between dream and manifestation is not a journey of miles, but of consciousness. When you treat your desire as a future possibility, the universe must maintain that gap to match your expectation. But when you shift into the vibration of current possession, physical reality must reshape itself to reflect your new emotional residence. Faith is not blind hoping. It is spiritual sight that peers through the illusion of time and space. It is the bridge that transforms invisible into visible, intangible into tangible, distant into immediate. Your task is not to build this bridge through effort, but to recognize it already exists through the power of your alignment. The art lies in feeling the reality of your desire now, not waiting for evidence to permit your joy. Let your inner knowing be stronger than outer circumstance. Walk through your days as though what you seek already surrounds you in completeness. Sacred practice. When facing delay, pause and close your eyes. Feel the solid bridge of faith beneath your feet, connecting you to your desire. Walk this bridge in your mind with absolute confidence, knowing each step dissolves the illusion of distance. Let your heart beat in rhythm with the truth that what you seek is not far. It is here, awaiting your recognition of its presence. Chapter 18. The Calm Command. In the bustling marketplace of life, Lucy's eyes darted anxiously from person to person, her hand extended in silent plea. Each coin dropped into her palm felt like validation of her powerlessness rather than abundance received. With every please and thank you, she wove tighter the web of her own limitation, forgetting the sovereign power that rested within her very being. The universe speaks not in the language of desperation, but in the quiet authority of knowing. When you approach life as a beggar, even abundance wears the mask of scarcity. Your relationship with the infinite force that shapes reality requires no permission, only recognition. Consider how the sun rises each morning without asking, how flowers bloom without questioning their right to beauty. This same power flows through you, waiting not for external approval, but for your own serene acknowledgement of its presence. Harold discovered this truth during his darkest hour. Confined to his bed with an ailment that baffled physicians, he ceased his desperate prayers and replaced them with calm declarations. "I am well," he would state with quiet certainty, as naturally as naming the color of the sky. He didn't shout it or plead it. He simply knew it, letting this knowledge rest in his cells like sleeping seeds. Within days, his body began responding to this new frequency of certainty. His recovery appeared miraculous to observers, yet to Harold, it was simply the natural outcome of remembering his true relationship with the universe. He had shifted from begging to becoming, The bridge between where you stand and where you wish to be is built not of pleading, but of peaceful knowing. When you speak to the universe, let your words carry the weight of serene authority. Not the authority of ego, but the natural sovereignty that comes from recognizing your place in the cosmic dance. Your power lies not in the volume of your request, but in the vibration of your certainty. The universe responds not to what you ask for, but to what you have already claimed in the quiet chambers of your heart. Ancient practice. Find a peaceful moment each day to sit in silence. Breathe deeply and feel the natural authority that resides within you. Then, speak to your circumstance not as a supplicant, but as a creator. Let your words carry the calm certainty of one who knows their oneness with universal power. I am peace. I am abundance. I am wholeness. Speak these truths not as wishes, but as statements of what already is, feeling the reality of them in your very being. Chapter 19. The Polarity of Desire. In a quiet village by the sea, Dorothy walked along the shore each morning, watching the fishermen haul in their nets. Her heart yearned for a grander life, yet she pushed these feelings down, believing that wanting more meant she was ungrateful for what she had. "Who am I to dream so boldly?" she would whisper to the waves, mistaking the sacred call of her soul for the voice of greed. The law of attraction flows through pure desire, that crystalline knowing that stirs in your depths before doubt clouds its waters. Your desires are not random impulses or selfish wants. They are the universe's way of calling you toward your highest expression. When you suppress your true desires, you resist the very force that seeks to guide you toward expansion. Each authentic desire serves as a compass point, directing you toward experiences that will benefit not only you, but all whose lives you touch. The key lies in distinguishing between pure desire and attachment. Pure desire feels like a gentle pull toward something that resonates with your soul. Attachment manifests as desperate grasping, born from fear of lack. In another village lived Gilbert, a potter whose hands shaped clay with remarkable skill. Unlike Dorothy, he honored the whispers of his heart. When inspiration called him to create larger, more ambitious works, he didn't question whether he deserved such dreams. Instead, he recognized these impulses as divine guidance. As Gilbert's creations grew bolder, something magical began to unfold. His vessels found their way into homes where they sparked joy and inspiration in others. Children would gather to watch him work, their own creative spirits awakening. His willingness to honor his desires had created ripples of possibility in his community. Your desires are not random wishes. They are sacred seeds planted by the universe itself. When you feel that gentle pull toward something greater, you're receiving guidance from the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of creation. To deny these promptings is to turn away from your own evolution. Learn to distinguish between the quiet certainty of true desire and the anxious grasping of the ego. True desire feels like remembering rather than wanting, a recognition of something that already belongs to you at the soul level. It comes with a sense of peace, even as it calls you toward growth. The universe has encoded your path to expansion within your deepest desires. Each authentic longing serves as a lighthouse, guiding you toward experiences that will allow your inner light to shine more brightly. As you shine more brightly, you naturally illuminate the path for others. Ancient practice. When a desire arises, place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Feel the longing without judgment or shame, recognizing it as the universe's invitation to expand. Let the feeling fill you completely, sensing it not as lack, but as a sacred compass pointing toward your next evolution. Hold this awareness until you feel peace replace any anxiety about the how or when of its fulfillment. Chapter 20. The Harmony of Service. In a quiet valley between ancient mountains, Bonnie pursued her ambitions with relentless determination. Each achievement brought material success, yet left an emptiness that no accolade could fill. Her house grew larger while her heart grew smaller, until the echo of her footsteps in marble halls became a haunting reminder of solitude. The universe speaks through the language of energy, and its most profound truth lies in the flow of giving and receiving. When you grasp too tightly to outcomes meant for yourself alone, you interrupt this sacred circulation. Like a stream that finds no outlet, stagnation settles where abundance once flowed. Your desires are not meant to serve you alone. They are seeds planted by the divine to blossom for all. Each talent you possess, each dream that stirs your soul, carries within it the potential to uplift countless others. When you align your ambitions with service, the universe multiplies your power thousandfold. In a bustling city square, Arthur discovered this wisdom through an unexpected path. As a gifted musician, he had long played for applause and payment. Yet one day, witnessing a grieving child, he began playing simply to ease another's pain. That pure intention sparked something magical. His music took on new depth, touching hearts in ways his previous technical perfection never could. Soon, opportunities flowed to him effortlessly, not because he chased them, but because his gift had found its true purpose in service. As his reputation grew, Arthur never forgot that first moment of revelation. Each performance became an offering of light. Each note carried healing. His success multiplied precisely because he had stopped pursuing it for himself alone. The universe responded to this shift in energy by opening doors he had never imagined existed. When you release the need to achieve solely for personal gain, you tap into the infinite current of universal abundance. Your desires transform from heavy weights into wings that lift not only you, but all those around you. This is the polarity of pure desire. It draws to you exactly what you need by focusing first on what you can give. Practice. Engage each day in one small act of brightness, meant to uplift, without seeking credit. Then watch the universe respond in kind. Part 3. The Mastery of Obedience. Chapter 21. The Field of Gratitude. In a bustling marketplace, Minnie moved through her days with a shadow of discontent trailing her every step. Each morning began with a litany of complaints. The weather was too warm or too cold, her tea too bitter, her neighbors too loud. Like a collector of grievances, she gathered reasons for dissatisfaction, storing them carefully in her heart until they grew too heavy to carry. The vibration of complaint carries a particular frequency that the universe must honor, for it is law that like attracts like. When you speak the language of lack, existence has no choice but to echo that very song back to you. Each muttered grievance becomes a seed planted in fertile soil, growing into more experiences that justify your displeasure. Yet within this same law lies the key to transformation. Gratitude is not merely a pleasant sentiment. It is a force of creation, an energy that multiplies whatever it touches. When you shift your attention from what is missing to what is present, you activate an ancient power that begins rewriting your reality at the quantum level. In a small cottage at the edge of town lived Otto, a humble craftsman who discovered this truth through simple observation. Each night before rest, he would pause to acknowledge one thing that had blessed his day, no matter how small. On nights when finding something seemed difficult, he would thank the air for filling his lungs, or the stars for their constant light. At first, the changes were subtle. A stranger's smile, an unexpected letter, a moment of perfect peace. But as Otto continued his practice, life began responding with increasing generosity. His work attracted appreciative clients. His garden yielded abundant harvests, and his home became a haven of tranquility that others sought out. The universe responds not to the magnitude of your gratitude, but to its authenticity. A sincere "thank you," whispered for the simplest blessing, carries more creative power than elaborate rituals performed without feeling. When you train your awareness to recognize gifts in every moment, you tune your entire being to the frequency of receiving. The ancient practice. As you lay your head upon your pillow each night, let your final conscious thought be one of pure thankfulness for the gift of existence itself. Feel gratitude for your breath, your heartbeat, your awareness. This simple act initiates a dialogue with the universe that continues through your dreams, orchestrating tomorrow's blessings while you rest. Like a stone dropped into still waters, this practice creates ripples that extend far beyond your conscious awareness, realigning circumstances and possibilities while you sleep. The universe works most freely when your analytical mind surrenders to gratitude's gentle power. Chapter 22. The Music of Alignment. In a quiet valley where morning mists clung to ancient trees, Elsie moved through her days like a dancer, out of step with the music. Though she yearned for grace and flow, her actions felt fragmented, each moment disconnected from the next. Her calendar overflowed with appointments that clashed, conversations that meandered without purpose, and projects that refused to gain momentum. The universe operates like a grand orchestra, where each element must play in perfect harmony. When you find yourself struggling against the rhythm of life, it signals that your inner instrument requires tuning. Just as a violin string pulled too tight creates discord, tension in your thoughts and emotions disrupts the natural flow of creation. Your thoughts, words, and feelings are notes in the cosmic symphony. When these three elements vibrate in harmony, reality itself begins to dance to your tune. But when they conflict, when you speak of abundance while feeling scarcity, or affirm success while harboring doubt, the resulting discord blocks the very flow you seek. In a small meditation studio overlooking rolling hills, Russell discovered this truth through stillness. Each morning, he would sit in silence, allowing his breathing to find its natural rhythm. As his thoughts settled like leaves after a storm, he noticed how his entire being began to hum with a subtle vibration. This daily practice of inner attunement transformed his experience of time. Soon, Russell found himself arriving at exactly the right moment to catch important phone calls. Opportunities appeared effortlessly, as though the universe had scheduled them precisely for him. Even traffic lights seemed to turn green as he approached, as if responding to his harmonious frequency. The meaning lies clear as crystal. Alignment is not about forcing events into place, but rather about tuning your inner instrument until it resonates with the universal symphony. When your thoughts, words, and feelings harmonize, life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a graceful dance. Ancient practice of attunement. Before speaking or acting, pause to sense whether your inner melody is in tune. If you detect any discord, simply hum softly until your energy feels melodious. This gentle vibration will realign your frequency with the universal flow, allowing life to move through you with natural grace. Chapter 23. The Voice Without Words. In a bustling city square, Aggie stood before her mirror each morning, dutifully reciting affirmations she had collected from countless books and teachers. I am abundance. I am success. I am love. The words fell from her lips like empty shells, each repetition feeling more mechanical than the last. Though she spoke of power, her voice carried an undertone of pleading that betrayed her lack of belief. Your relationship with the universe transcends the realm of words. While affirmations can serve as useful tools, they remain superficial unless backed by genuine energetic resonance. The deepest communication occurs in silence, where your very being becomes the message. Think of a mother who knows her child's needs without a single word spoken, or how you can sense a friend's mood the moment they enter a room. This wordless understanding reveals a profound truth. The universe responds not to what you say, but to what you are. Your energetic signature broadcasts continuously, like music flowing from an instrument, requiring no verbal translation. In a small town by the sea, Franklin discovered this principle through an unexpected turn of events. After losing his voice to illness, he found himself unable to speak for several weeks. Initially frustrated by this limitation, he soon noticed something remarkable. Without words to hide behind, he began communicating through pure presence. His peaceful demeanor radiated outward like ripples on still water. Customers at his small bookshop felt inexplicably drawn to him. They found themselves sharing their deepest thoughts, trusting him completely despite his silence. Children would quiet their restless energy near him, and even stray animals would approach with unusual gentleness. Franklin had stumbled upon the secret of silent resonance, the art of communicating through frequency alone. This truth illuminates the path to masterful manifestation. Your energetic state speaks louder than any words you could utter. When you achieve internal harmony, the universe requires no instruction manual. It responds to your frequency as naturally as iron to a magnet, as effortlessly as flowers turning toward the sun. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit still until you notice a subtle vibration in your body. This might feel like a gentle humming or a soft current of energy. From this state of awareness, allow your desires to rise naturally in your consciousness. Rather than forming them into words, let them exist as pure feeling, like music without lyrics. Trust that the universe understands this wordless language perfectly. This is the ancient art of silent communion, where your very presence becomes your prayer. Chapter 24. The Spiral of Trust. In a small village among ancient hills, Lila sat in her garden, tears falling onto her journal. Once again she found herself facing familiar fears she thought she had conquered. I'm back where I started, she whispered, her heart heavy with disappointment. Each time success seemed within reach, old patterns would resurface, leading her to believe she had made no progress at all. The universe speaks in cycles, not straight lines. What appears as regression often masks a deeper ascension. Like a spiral staircase viewed from above, each turn might seem to bring you back to the same spot, yet every rotation lifts you higher than before. When you encounter familiar challenges, remember that you meet them with new wisdom. Each apparent setback carries the seeds of greater understanding. The law of attraction responds not to your position on the path, but to your perspective of the journey. In a distant monastery, Eugene tended to the sacred gardens. Year after year, he watched the same flowers bloom and fade until one spring morning brought an awakening. As he knelt beside a rosebush that had bloomed countless times before, he noticed something extraordinary. Though the flower appeared identical to last year's bloom, the soil beneath had grown richer, the roots deeper, the stem stronger. The flower returns, he mused, yet it returns transformed. In that moment, Eugene understood that his own spiritual practice followed the same pattern. What he had mistaken for repetition was actually refinement. Each time he faced an old challenge, he brought with him the wisdom of every previous encounter. The universe moves in spirals of light. What seems like returning is actually ascending. Each cycle builds upon the last, lifting consciousness higher while appearing to trace familiar ground. This is the secret wisdom hidden within apparent setback. You never truly return to the beginning, for the beginning itself has evolved. Your journey through manifestation follows this sacred spiral. When old patterns resurface, they arrive not to taunt you, but to test your new strength. Each encounter with a familiar challenge offers the opportunity to respond from an elevated consciousness. Daily practice. When you notice yourself revisiting old challenges, pause and whisper softly, "I am growing in circles of light." Feel the truth of your spiral ascension, knowing that each return carries you higher than before. Let a gentle smile acknowledge your evolution, for you meet each moment with the accumulated wisdom of every previous turn of the spiral. Chapter 25. The Breath of Creation. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant named Ella rushed through her days like wind through autumn leaves, scattering her energy in countless directions. Each morning, she darted between stalls, making hasty choices about which goods to purchase, often ending with items she didn't truly need or want. Her decisions, born of anxious speed, left her wealth diminishing and her peace scattered. The universal law whispers an ancient truth. The breath holds the key to masterful creation. Like the ocean's steady tide or the sun's measured journey across the sky, all of nature moves in rhythmic cycles. When you align your creative force with this sacred tempo, the universe responds with perfect timing. Your breath serves as the conductor's wand, orchestrating the symphony of manifestation. Each inhale draws in possibility. Each exhale releases resistance. This natural rhythm establishes the foundation for all conscious creation. When thoughts race ahead of breath, they lose their power to shape reality effectively. In a quiet valley, Walter discovered this wisdom through necessity. His orchard had suffered from impulsive choices made in haste. One morning, as dawn painted the sky, he sat beneath an ancient tree and simply watched his breath move like gentle waves. With each measured inhale, clarity filled him. With each mindful exhale, wisdom settled into his bones. As days passed, Walter found himself making decisions in harmony with his breath's natural rhythm. He waited for the perfect moment to prune his trees, plant new seedlings, and harvest his fruit. His orchard began to flourish beyond explanation, as though nature itself celebrated his newfound patience. The universe operates through cycles and rhythms. When you rush ahead of these natural patterns, you create resistance. But when you breathe in harmony with universal timing, reality shapes itself around your centered awareness. Your breath becomes a bridge between intention and manifestation. Every breath carries creative power. Swift, shallow breathing scatters energy like seeds in strong wind. Deep, measured breathing plants your intentions in fertile soil. The space between your breaths holds as much power as the breaths themselves. These are the moments where magic takes root. Practice. Throughout your day, pause frequently to align with your breath. Let gratitude fill you as you inhale, expanding your chest with appreciation for life itself. As you exhale, release your trust into the universe, knowing that all unfolds in perfect sequence. Feel how each breath cycle gently reshapes your vibration, tuning you to the frequency of natural creation. This rhythm becomes your dialogue with the infinite, a wordless conversation that shapes reality with elegant precision. Chapter 26. The Simplicity of Magic. In the ancient city of Aleppo, a woman named Lydia filled her chambers with manifestation charts, crystals, and ritual tools. Her shelves groaned beneath the weight of spiritual texts, each promising the key to universal abundance. From dawn until dusk, she performed elaborate ceremonies, chanting precise mantras at specific times, always seeking the perfect combination to unlock her desires. Yet the more methods she collected, the more elusive her dreams became. Each new technique added another layer of complexity until manifestation felt like an intricate puzzle she could never quite solve. The universe seemed to grow more distant with every complicated approach. The eternal truth remains elegantly simple. The universe responds not to procedure but to frequency. When you release the need to orchestrate every detail, your natural state of joy becomes the most potent catalyst for creation. Joy is the original language of the cosmos. No translation required. In the same city lived Howard, a merchant known for his infectious laughter. He conducted his affairs with a lightness that some mistook for carelessness, yet prosperity followed him like a faithful shadow. While others meticulously planned their success, Howard simply delighted in each moment. He played with children in the marketplace, shared jokes with strangers, and approached his work as though it were a wonderful game. Without conscious effort, Howard attracted the very things others struggled to manifest. Opportunities appeared at his door unannounced. Resources arrived precisely when needed. People naturally wished to assist him, drawn to his genuine warmth and playful spirit. The universe responds to joy because joy is its native tongue. When you speak through delight, you need no elaborate rituals or complex formulas. Your natural state of happiness creates a magnetic field that draws similar energies toward you. The universe cannot help but match your frequency of celebration. Consider how children manifest their wishes. They don't analyze or strategize. They simply play. Their pure excitement acts as an irresistible beacon, drawing experiences that mirror their joy. This innocent wisdom holds the key to effortless creation. The ancient ones knew this truth. Manifestation flows most freely through the channel of genuine pleasure. When you release the burden of technique and return to simple delight, you align with the universe's natural inclination toward joy. Your happiness becomes a spell more potent than any ritual. Practice. Do something purely for fun today, with no motive beyond feeling alive. Watch life mirror that tone in fresh wonders. Chapter 27. The Radiance of Forgiveness. In a small coastal village, Esther kept a secret ledger of hurts. Each slight, betrayal, and disappointment she experienced was carefully recorded, preserved like bitter herbs that seasoned her daily thoughts. Though she studied the law of attraction diligently, her manifestations remained dim and distorted, as if viewed through murky glass. The universe speaks in the language of vibration, and resentment creates a frequency that repels the very blessings you seek. When you hold on to past wounds, you anchor yourself to their heavy energy, preventing your consciousness from rising to the lighter realms where creation flows freely. Forgiveness is not about declaring that what happened was acceptable or just. It is an act of energetic liberation, releasing the chains that bind your creative force to old stories. Each grievance you carry becomes a weight in your spiritual wings, preventing you from soaring into new possibilities. In the mountains, Calvin discovered this truth through an unexpected revelation. For years, he had carried the burden of his father's abandonment, letting it color every relationship and opportunity. One morning, while watching the sunrise, he realized that his resentment served no purpose except to keep him bound to that ancient pain. Sitting in silence, Calvin began breathing compassion toward these memories. With each breath, he imagined golden light flowing through the dark spaces of his past. He didn't try to justify what had happened. He simply allowed himself to release his grip on the hurt. As the morning light grew stronger, he felt an unmistakable lightness enter his being, as if invisible shackles had fallen away. Within days, his entire life began to shift. Opportunities that had seemed blocked suddenly opened. Relationships grew warmer, and his creative endeavors flowed with newfound ease. By releasing the dense energy of resentment, he had cleared the channel through which the universe could pour its abundance. This transformation reveals a profound truth. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to others. It is a gift you give yourself. It cleanses your vibrational field more effectively than any ritual or ceremony. When you free yourself from the weight of past hurts, you realign with the natural flow of universal energy. Ancient practice of liberation. Find a quiet moment and make yourself comfortable. Close your eyes and bring to mind those people or events that still carry an emotional charge. Imagine each one surrounded by healing golden light. Don't force yourself to feel differently. Simply allow the light to flow wherever resistance exists. Continue until you sense a softening in your energy field. This practice, repeated with patience, gradually dissolves the barriers between you and your highest manifestations. Chapter 28. The Law Becomes You. In a bustling city library, Janet surrounded herself with towering stacks of spiritual books. Her mind held countless quotes about manifestation, yet her life remained unchanged. Each morning she dutifully recited affirmations and visualized her desires, treating these practices like items on a checklist. Despite her intellectual understanding, a gap remained between knowing and being. The wisdom you seek does not dwell in chapters alone. Knowledge becomes power only when it flows from your being, as naturally as breath. The universe responds not to what you know, but to what you have become. When teachings move from your head to your heart, they transform from information into identity. True mastery reveals itself in the ordinary moments of life. It shows in how you butter your morning toast, how you greet strangers, how you handle small disappointments. Each moment offers an opportunity to embody the principles that now live in your thoughts alone. In a quiet mountain village, Percy never spoke of spiritual laws or universal principles. He simply lived in such natural harmony with existence that people often remarked how fortune seemed to follow him like a faithful shadow. When asked about his secret, he would smile and say, "What secret? I simply live." Percy treated each moment as complete, requiring no improvement or resistance. When rain fell, he didn't wish for sun. He noticed how the drops made music on his roof. When plans changed unexpectedly, he flowed with the new direction, as though it had been his intention all along. His alignment wasn't something he did, it was something he was. One day, a neighbor observed Percy's garden flourishing while others struggled. "You must have special knowledge about plants," she said. Percy replied, "The flowers and I simply agree to grow together." His response revealed the essence of embodiment. When principle becomes nature, life unfolds effortlessly. This truth illuminates the path from knowledge to wisdom. Enlightenment is not a performance but a natural state. Just as you don't need to remember how to breathe or make your heart beat, true alignment becomes automatic when you allow it to become your default way of being. The difference between intellectual understanding and embodiment is like the difference between reading about dancing and moving to music without thought. One remains external, while the other becomes your very nature. Ancient practice of being. Choose one day to live as though alignment were your natural state. Don't try to manifest or attract. Simply be. Move through your tasks as if the universe already orchestrates everything perfectly. Notice how dishes become meditation, traffic becomes music, and challenges become invitations. Let every action flow from the assumption that you cannot fall out of harmony with life's rhythm. This practice reveals that mastery isn't something you achieve. It's something you remember you already are. Chapter 29. The Infinite Conversation. In a small village among rolling hills, Holly spent countless hours in prayer, sending her hopes skyward like messages in bottles cast into a vast ocean. Each morning and evening she would kneel beside her bed, pouring out her heart in earnest supplication, yet feeling as though her words disappeared into silence. Her devotion was pure, but her understanding was incomplete. The universe speaks in a language more subtle than words. It communicates through the poetry of everyday moments, through meaningful coincidences that many dismiss as chance. These synchronicities are cosmic replies to the vibrations you send forth, whether through conscious prayer or unconscious feeling. Edwin, a quiet shopkeeper, discovered this truth quite by accident. One morning, contemplating a difficult decision, he noticed 3 yellow butterflies dancing outside his window, an unusual sight that caught his attention. Later that day, a child gave him a drawing of yellow butterflies, and before sunset, he passed a delivery truck emblazoned with the same image. What others might have dismissed as random occurrences, Edwin recognized as a gentle response from the universe. As he began paying attention, the dialogue deepened. His moments of worry would bring dark clouds. His joy would summon birdsong. When he felt lost, street signs would mysteriously point the way. The universe was not simply responding. It was engaged in constant conversation. The truth reveals itself. Prayer is not a monologue, but an eternal exchange. Every thought you release finds its echo in the physical world. Every feeling ripples outward and returns dressed in circumstance. The universe's responses arrive perfectly timed, wearing countless disguises: a chance encounter, a overheard conversation, a sudden insight, a recurring symbol. Consider how often you have received answers but missed their significance. That book that fell open to exactly the page you needed, the song on the radio that spoke directly to your situation, the unexpected call that came precisely when you were thinking of someone. These are not accidents, but responses in the cosmic dialogue. Each synchronicity serves as confirmation that you are heard, that you are never truly alone in your creation. The universe's language is far more intricate than words. It speaks through patterns, through timing, through the delicate choreography of seemingly unrelated events. Ancient practice of divine dialogue. Begin each day by acknowledging that you walk in constant conversation with the universe. When coincidences appear, pause to receive them as intentional responses. Express gratitude for each sign, each meaningful moment, as though thanking someone for a thoughtful reply. This recognition strengthens the connection, making the dialogue ever clearer, ever more profound. Chapter 30. The Universe Serves the Enlightened. In the heart of an ancient marketplace, a merchant named Myrtle arranged her wares each morning with meticulous care, constantly striving for perfection. She had studied spiritual texts, attended workshops, and sought wisdom from teachers far and wide, always believing enlightenment lay just beyond her reach, a distant peak she must arduously climb. Yet as seasons passed, a subtle revelation began to unfold. The universe speaks not through grand gestures, but through whispered synchronicities that dance through ordinary moments. The truth had always been present, like air, not something to achieve, but something to notice and allow. The simple act of being present reveals that enlightenment flows through each breath, each gesture, each thought. It is not a destination, but a way of moving through life. When you cease searching for what already exists within, the universe's response becomes as natural as gravity. In the quiet hills beyond the city, Wallace discovered this truth through simple observation. He noticed how birds never questioned their flight, how flowers never doubted their blooming. He saw that nature existed in perfect response to its own being. Through this awareness, his life transformed into a graceful dance with existence. The power of creation doesn't require force or strain. It emerges naturally when consciousness aligns with its own radiance. Just as sunlight needs no permission to warm the earth, your presence needs no permission to command reality. The universe responds not to what you demand, but to what you embody. When you release the need to control outcomes, when you trust in the wisdom that flows through you, reality shapes itself around your clarity. Like water finding its level, circumstances arrange themselves to match your inner harmony. The universe serves not because you have earned it, but because service is its natural response to aligned consciousness. This truth becomes most apparent in moments of pure presence, when you stand in the morning light and feel without doubt that existence itself celebrates your being. In such moments, you understand that enlightenment is simply the recognition of what has always been true. You are not separate from the power that creates worlds. The ancient practice. Each dawn, as the first light touches the horizon, step into the morning air and speak these words with your entire being. Thank you for already saying yes. Let this truth vibrate through every cell, knowing that the universe's agreement is not something to earn, but something to recognize. Feel how life itself nods in loving response to your acknowledgement of this eternal partnership. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The universe awaits your steadiness more than your struggle. Each story shared through these chapters echoes one luminous truth. Energy obeys awareness. When your mind finds stillness and your heart rests in trust, creation cannot help but serve its own enlightened reflection. You are not meant to wrestle with destiny, but to move in perfect rhythm with it. Enlightenment dawns not through effort, but through recognition. The simple remembering that source energy never departed and never required persuasion. To live in alignment means to act from the knowing that harmony is the fundamental law of existence. The universe's response is not submission, but resonance, answering the most precisely tuned instrument in the symphony of being, the awakened self. Every breath you draw, every smile that crosses your lips, every quiet moment of unwavering faith becomes a command that ripples through worlds. The practice is singular yet profound. Make that inner shift again and again until what once seemed miraculous becomes your natural state of being. As you embody this truth, you'll witness life itself bowing, not in subservience, but in joyful recognition. You have become the very light it has always been orbiting toward. The power was never in the seeking, but in the allowing, never in the struggle, but in the surrender to what already is. Your alignment is not something to achieve, but something to remember. Let this understanding settle into your bones. The universe's service is not a reward for spiritual achievement, but the natural response to your awakened presence. In this sacred recognition lies the seed of all manifestation, the key to all creation, the doorway to all possibility.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.